The Bible says in Leviticus, a man also or woman that hath a familiar spirit, or that is a what?
Wizard.
Shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones, their blood shall be upon them. Leviticus 19. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after what?
Wizards.
To be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. These are commands. Do you understand that sorcery, demonic possession, these things are real? It's not just TV. Here it is. How many of us, I mean, I can't even really say this anymore because we make...
I just shared with them last month about how a woman told me and one of the pastors at my church that when she was a child, her brother was playing with a Ouija board, and a spirit came into the house and possessed her. And she spoke to her mother, but her mother didn't believe her. So for years, this woman was possessed by this demonic spirit that continued to open the door for more spirits. So when she finally came to us for an exorcism, there were 5 spirits that had to be cast out.
Wow. It's real. It's no joke. And the thing is one of the things Satan does is what I like to consider, he's desensitized us. What used to be like, oh, whoa, don't play with that. Now it's like, it's not a big deal. I mean, I'm watching Dora the Explorer. Anybody familiar with the... Okay, man, I got kids. That's why I was watching Dora. So I'm watching Dora the Explorer with my kids, and I'm watching Dora doing the magic. She got the magic show. You're watching all of these movies that grow up where you have these things that God says it's an abomination. Don't do them. And we grow up and it's like, well, it's just fantasy. It's not fantasy. It's real.
What about like Lord of the Rings? I thought J.R.R. Tolkien was a Christian who comes with C.S. Lewis.
Hey, man, that's a great point. I was actually watching that the other day. I'm working. Lord's working on it. It's a great question. The problem is you have good wizards. And that's a perversion of truth. Anytime you take what is evil, there's nothing wrong with having a story about something evil, good and evil. But when you start perverting the truth,
there's something wrong with it.
It's something wrong with it. And so we have to watch out for that because it becomes so subtle that we don't really, it's like, that's not really real. And that's what I want us to understand. Look at this story. And this is true. The Bible's true, so this is a true story. Number one, the Bible wouldn't say don't mess with wizards if wizards weren't real. There is a power that they possess. Possessions, that stuff is real. Don't play with it. And that's the example that she just gave. But look what happened. A team of Jews, they were traveling from town to town. And casting out evil spirits using the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, incarnations and using them. So then what happened is these people were casting out demons. And as they were casting them out, they were using, come out of them in the name of Paul. And so they were saying, come out of this person in the name of Paul. And so what happened is the Spirit said, I know Jesus, I know Paul, but who are you? And the word says that the evil spirit jumped on them. Man, that's real. We don't need to play with these type of things. These things are nothing to play with. As a result, look at what happens in verse 18. Many became believers and confessed their sinful practices. And a number of them who had been practicing magic brought their incarnation books and burned them at a public bonfire. Most theistic Satanists practice witchcraft and sorcery or seances. They use these things as part of their spells. They invoke spirits as part of their spell binding. A lot of these magic and the ideas of magic come back from Egypt. And a lot of things that they used to do in older civilizations.
No, now that that's easy, they go back to talking about, we talk about charm and everything, it's the same thing, it's all witchcraft.
Yes.
Spells, it's all the same thing.
It's all the same thing. but it's not always called the same thing. That's what I'm trying to get us to understand. We get caught up in names. And so don't get caught up in the name. See what the message is. What is it doing? Do we understand that this stuff is an abomination? So all of these things come back. These are some of the different theistic Satanist groups. You have the Golden Dawn, Wicca, Left Hand Path, Order of Lucifer, and so on and so on. I want you guys to watch this. This was an interesting piece that I saw.
Welcome to my house, gentlemen.
Raven Digitalis is a pagan priest living in the town of Missoula, Montana. That's right, he's a witch.
You've seen Harry Potter, you know what the magic wand's for. Unfortunately, we can't levitate stuff. We've got all sorts of little altars around the house. This is to ward off evil spirits. It's got its nasty little face. The craft is one of the most empowering religions or spiritual lifestyles that exist.
Raised in relatively liberal Missoula in a non-denominational family, Raven had room to explore. He began reading up on alternative religions, and a high school friend introduced him to witchcraft.
It says that God is not apart from you. God is very much a part of you. Realizing that reality is alive and reality is sacred and spiritual.
Witchcraft, one branch of paganism, is a religion that reveres nature and a higher power that is equally male and female. It also stresses responsibility for one's actions.
What's the most important thing is how you are day to day, what kind of person you are, how you treat other people, how you treat the earth.
And yes, witches do cast spells.
This is a pincushion lemon, and it's an old Italian spell, and the spell is to drive any negative energies into the lemon itself. It's like pinhead. Spells are like prayers. They're more involved prayers. Come, bless this area. Make it sacred with the wisdom of mind and spirit. When a person casts magic, however they cast magic, it should not interfere with another person's free will, because then it's considered black magic, and that's against the flow and the cycle of the universe. Witchcraft isn't an evil religion. We don't worship the devil or impale babies or sacrifice animals. You know, I'm vegetarian. We're not really Satanists. Well, this is cute. The witches have always been healers, and they help out other people.
A writer and a DJ for the local college radio station.
Hope you're enjoying the show. If you have a Gothic or industrial request, give me a call.
Okay, I want to stop there. What did you notice about some of the things he said? Not your own opinion, but how did he present it?
He was talking about how, like, good things, like kindness and, like, not messing with other people's will, being good in nature and other people and stuff like that.
Reminded me a lot of last week when it said, do what thou wilt, as long as you're not infringing.
Do what thou wilt.
So spells are just like prayers, but more involved.
Right, it's just prayers, and look how he used the term God. I'm actually, God's working on me right now, and just sharing a little bit. I'll get your question. But he's working on me because we use the word God, but other people, other religions use the same word God. And so there's power. I use Jehovah, or I use Yahweh a little bit more now, because there's a distinction. When I say Yahweh, Yahweh is the Old Testament, the covenant-keeping God. And so when you say Yahweh, it's distinguishing, hey, whatever God he's talking about, that ain't the God that I'm talking about. I'm talking about Yahweh. He can't say that when he says his God. And so they, okay, let's just something perfect.
And also, and to go back when he said, and he go up in the non-denominational.
I really liked how it said, and his parents allowed him what?
Freedom.
Freedom to explore. I don't mind. Like some people might say, man, I don't want them to learn about this. No, I want to teach this so you can have an understanding of what's out there, but I'm going to do it with boundaries.
Yes.
So I can be there to help you, to guide you. Because sometimes that freedom ends up having you on the wrong path.
Just like when we teach our kids, don't run out in the street. Well, of course, eventually you're gonna have to walk across the street.
Right.
But you still just
You,
can't.
but you got to show them, so eventually, so you have to show them how, the proper way to cross the street. So otherwise they're going to grow up to 20 years old. I can't cross the street. So, yes.
I was saying with that because my mom, when I let me cross the street, by myself, I turned to me 13 or 14. She was
Okay.
there right there the whole time.
All right, all right.
I'm like, man.
Last one.
Something like kind of really personal with this is I have a friend who's kind of into this stuff, and something he says to me a lot is that there's like good spells and like what he was saying, like the black magic
There's bad
stuff.
spells.
Yeah, and so the whole thing is.
So let's go back. What should our attitude be toward these things? Because again, we'll look at it and it's like, well, you know, you do it, your thing and I'll do my thing, but we need to, what is our attitude? What does the Bible say our attitude should be toward these things? Look what it says in Deuteronomy. Somebody read that please, really loud.
Enter the land which the Lord your God gives you. You shall not learn to imitate the detestable things of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire, one who uses divination, practicing witchcraft, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who casts a spell, or a medium, or a spiritist, or one who calls up the dead.
Stop right there, stop right there. Look at that. When you go into the land, see, you have to understand the Israelites, they were going into a hostile environment. They were going into a place that they don't worship God, Jehovah, Yahweh. And so they were worshiping all their other gods, and they had many other practices of witchcraft and sorcery, which all has its connections with Satan. And so here it is, they're going in, he's saying, don't mess with that stuff. Don't imitate them.
But we go in every time we turn on the TV or walk out our door.
We're going to go there, we're going to go there. Let's keep reading, verse 12.
For whoever does these things is detestable to the Lord.
Stop right there. Whoever does these things is what?
Detestable.
What is our attitude toward these things?
To hate them.
They're detestable.
That's all.
These actions, they're detestable. And because of these detestable things, the Lord your God will drive them out before you. God's judgment was on them because of their detestable actions. Now, let's go here so we can understand. As Christians, we hate the sin, not who? The sinner, the people. Because we were all sinners. Okay, that's really important. I'm not saying for us to go down and start looking, you do that. No, that's not the point of this. You sinner, you. Man, I'm a sinner too. We've all messed up. We've all fallen short of His glory. But we have tools now that we can better be ministered to ourselves first, so we can have a better understanding, so we can cast the log out of our eye, so that way we can better minister to others. Understand? Okay. How many of us would go to an occult seance? Anybody? Is it entertaining? You would? Okay, all right. Or a sorcery school. How many of us would go to a sorcery school? If we knew that Satan was holding a class today, trust me, we wouldn't even go in. I understand. All right, so if Satan was holding a class today, how many of us would show up?
It will be packed outside.
It would be packed outside. If people knew that Satan, no. Here's something I always say. If we did a big assembly of this entire college,